First contact. Commander Xenia Okafor tapped her finger nervously against the edge of her console. Jupiter Defense Station wasn't known for excitement. Monitoring the gas giant's orbital lanes was typically routine work. But the readings pulsing across her screen were anything but routine. Lieutenant Nakamura, confirm these signatures, she ordered, her Nigerian accent crisp against the sterile air of the command center. Nakamura's fingers danced across his station. Confirmed, Commander. Multiple objects decelerating at the edge of Neptune's orbit. Energy signatures, off the charts. Nothing in our database matches. Xenia's stomach tightened. After 15 years in Earth Space Command, she knew when something felt wrong. Alert Sol Command. Priority Alpha. Before Nakamura could acknowledge the order, every screen in the command center flickered, went dark, then reactivated with a symbol none of them recognized, a spiraling glyph that seemed to pull at the eye. What the hell? Xenia whispered. The screen shifted again, revealing a figure. Humanoid, but clearly not human, skin like polished obsidian, eyes with vertical pupils that glowed electric blue. The alien spoke, its voice translated into perfect English with an unsettling harmonic undertone. People of Earth. We are the Meridian Collective. Your existence has been monitored since your first radio transmissions. Your rapid technological advancement has triggered the threshold protocol. You will submit to integration or face dissolution. You have 6 hours to transmit your surrender. The message ended. The screens returned to normal. For 3 breathless seconds, nobody moved. Then the command center erupted in controlled chaos. Get me a direct line to General Vega, Xenia ordered, already moving toward the secure communications room. This was beyond her authority, beyond anyone's experience. The United Earth Defense Force had trained for first contact scenarios, but nothing like this, nothing so immediate, so threatening. Within 30 minutes, she was looking at the stern face of General Marcus Vega, Supreme Commander of Earth's unified military forces. Commander Okafor, I've reviewed your report. The same message was broadcast globally. Every screen on Earth, every communication device. We're looking at a technological sophistication that... He paused, collecting himself. That exceeds our most advanced systems by centuries. Sir, what are your orders? Vega's expression hardened. We're not surrendering. Whatever integration means, history suggests it won't be in humanity's best interest. Then we fight, Xenia said simply. Against an enemy that can hack every system on Earth simultaneously, we need more than conventional tactics. Vega leaned closer to the camera. Listen carefully. I'm activating Protocol Prometheus. Jupiter Station has the only quantum computing array outside Earth's immediate defensive grid. You might be our only asset they haven't compromised. The implications hit Xenia like a physical blow. Jupiter Station wasn't a major military installation. It was a research outpost with minimal defensive capabilities. If Earth was counting on them. Understood, sir. What exactly are we looking for? Anything. A weakness. A pattern. You have 6 hours. The transmission ended, leaving Xenia staring at her reflection in the darkened screen. 6 hours to find a way to fight an enemy that could be anywhere in their systems. She assembled her team immediately, 15 of Jupiter Station's brightest minds, most of them scientists rather than soldiers. Dr. Fujimoto, she addressed the station's lead communications expert, analyzed their transmission method. How did they bypass our firewalls? The Japanese quantum physicist nodded grimly. Already working on it. Preliminary analysis suggests they're using some form of quantum intrusion we've only theorized about. For hours passed in frantic analysis. The Meridian vessels had moved inward, passing Neptune, then Uranus. They would reach Jupiter in less than 12 hours. Earth in under 24. Then it happened. Mars' colony went dark. The emergency broadcast reached them 18 minutes later, the time it took light to travel from Mars to Jupiter. The footage showed Meridian ships, sleek and angular, appearing in Mars' orbit without warning. No weapons were fired. The colony's systems simply shut down, life support, communications, defenses. Then, just as inexplicably, life support reactivated. A demonstration of power. A warning. They're showing restraint, Xenia realized aloud. They could have killed everyone on Mars. Or maybe they need living humans, suggested Dr. Fujimoto. For this, integration they mentioned. That's when Xenia noticed the pattern. Play back the Mars footage, she ordered. Focus on the ship's movements during the shutdown. The team watched as the alien vessels executed a perfect, synchronized maneuver. There, she pointed. The light patterns on their hulls. They pulse just before each system on Mars fails. Dr. Fujimoto leaned forward. Coordinated attack vectors? More than that, Xenia said, excitement building. Look at the transmission delay between ships. Even they can't break the laws of physics. They're using localized quantum entanglement for communication, but there's a synchronization pattern. For the next hour, they analyzed every frame of the Mars footage. A theory emerged. The Meridian ships operated as a single networked entity, but the entanglement required precise timing pulses to maintain coordination. If we could disrupt that synchronization, Xenia began, we'd have seconds, maybe minutes before they adapt, Fujimoto finished. But it might be enough. With 30 minutes remaining before the ultimatum expired, Xenia transmitted their findings to Earth Command. The response was immediate. Deploy the countermeasure. Jupiter Station's quantum array wasn't designed as a weapon, but with Dr. Fujimoto's modifications, it could generate a targeted pulse that might, just might, disrupt the Meridian coordination network. As the 6-hour deadline arrived, the Meridian ships accelerated suddenly toward Earth. No further communication, just the silent approach of destruction. They never expected us to surrender, Xenia realized. This was always their plan. General Vega's face appeared on her screen one final time. Commander Okafor, your station is now our forward operating base. Earth is deploying Operation Shattered Mirror based on your findings. We'll attempt to disrupt their coordination while you target their command ship directly. Xenia looked around at her team, scientists and technicians now thrust into the front lines of humanity's first interstellar war. How will we even identify their command ship? She asked. Vega's expression was grim. That's the mission of the USS Phantom. Captain Dieter Harlow and his team are already en route to your position. They'll need your quantum pulse technology to complete their mission. The transmission cut out as proximity alarms blared throughout the station. Through the observation port, Xenia saw it, the first Meridian ship entering Jupiter's orbit, its hull shimmering with unearthly energy. Humanity's counterattack was about to begin. The turning tide. Captain Dieter Harlow had never seen anything like the Meridian vessels. From the observation deck of the USS Phantom, they resembled massive obsidian arrowheads, their surfaces rippling with iridescent energy patterns. His stealth corvette, Earth's most advanced ship, felt like a primitive canoe by comparison. Final approach to Jupiter Station, announced Lieutenant Wei, the pilot. Stealth systems functioning at optimal levels. Dieter nodded, his weathered face revealing none of the anxiety churning inside him. At 53, he was older than most active ship captains, but Operation Shattered Mirror needed his experience with covert insertions. Any sign they've detected us? He asked. Negative, Captain, replied Ensign Rodriguez, monitoring their sensor array. Though with their tech, who knows if our stealth capabilities mean anything. The USS Phantom docked with Jupiter Station under electromagnetic blackout conditions. Commander Okafor was waiting in the airlock, her expression a mixture of relief and tension. Captain Harlow, she greeted him, we've been monitoring the Meridian fleet's movements. They're bypassing Jupiter, heading straight for Earth. All except one. She led him to the command center where a holographic display showed a single Meridian vessel braking formation, moving toward Jupiter Station's position. They know we're here, Dieter concluded. Not necessarily, interjected Dr. Fujimoto. We believe this is their coordination vessel. It's positioning itself to maintain optimal quantum entanglement with the attack fleet. Engineer Lydia Torres, the Phantom's quantum systems specialist, studied the display with narrowed eyes. Her hands, scarred from years working with experimental technology, traced the alien ship's trajectory. If that's their CNC vessel, it's the perfect target, she said. But how do we get close enough to deploy the pulse disruptor? We don't, Commander Okafor explained. You'll take Dr. Fujimoto's modified quantum array aboard the Phantom. The station will create a gravitational distortion to mask your approach. Dieter frowned. Even with stealth and gravitational cover, we'd be detected the moment we activate the pulse. That's why we need to board them, Lydia said quietly. The room fell silent. Explain, Dieter demanded. Lydia pulled up schematics of the pulse disruptor. The effective range is limited. To completely disrupt their network, we need to deploy it from inside their quantum field. A small team could use the station's shuttle. Suicide, Dieter interrupted. Perhaps not, said Dr. Fujimoto. We've analyzed their hull composition. There's a resonance pattern that suggests their quantum field might actually assist an object with similar quantum signatures to phase through. You're saying we can ghost through their hull? Dieter asked incredulously. Theoretically, Commander Okafor confirmed, but only with exact quantum synchronization. 6 hours later, Dieter found himself in an experimental insertion pod attached to the Phantom's hull. With him were Lydia Torres and 2 Special Forces operatives, Sergeant Hiroshi Tanaka and Corporal Nessa Okonkwo. Final systems check, Lydia called out, her voice steady despite the insanity of their mission. Green across the board, reported Nessa, the team's combat specialist. Dieter closed his eyes briefly. 28 years of military service had prepared him for death, but not like this. Attempting to phase through an alien ship's hull using technology humans barely understood. Launch in 3, 2, 1. The pod detached, its thrusters silent in vacuum. As Jupiter Station created its gravitational distortion, the Meridian vessel repositioned, exactly as predicted. The insertion pod drifted toward it, powered down except for the quantum synchronizer. Activating phase sequence, Lydia whispered, fingers dancing across controls. The alien ship loomed before them, its surface no longer solid but somehow permeable as the pod aligned its quantum signature. Dieter felt a sensation like being pulled apart at the atomic level, not painful, but profoundly wrong. Then they were through. The interior of the Meridian vessel defied human architectural logic. Corridors curved in non-Euclidean patterns, illuminated by ambient light that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. Atmosphere present, Hiroshi confirmed, checking his instruments. Breathable, but high in noble gases. They moved cautiously through the vessel, following the quantum readings toward what they hoped was the coordination center. Strangely, they encountered no resistance, no crew. Where are they? Nessa whispered, weapon ready. As if in answer, a section of wall rippled, and a Meridian stepped through. Unlike the threatening figure from the broadcast, this being appeared almost fragile, tall and slender with that same obsidian skin, but with an expression of what could only be described as curiosity. Before anyone could react, it spoke, not aloud, but directly into their minds. You should not be here. The threshold protocol is absolute. Dieter stepped forward. We're here to stop you from attacking our world. The alien's head tilted. Attack? We are preventing attack. Your species approaches the singularity threshold. Without integration, you will become like the Devourers. Confusion rippled through the team. Lydia moved closer. What Devourers? Images flooded their minds. Civilizations rising, developing technology similar to Earth's quantum experiments, then somehow tearing reality apart, unleashing entities that consumed entire star systems. Your quantum experimentation. It draws their attention. We arrived to prevent this. By conquering us? Dieter challenged. By integrating your consciousness with the collective. Preserving your essence while preventing technological convergence that triggers dimensional collapse. The revelation stunned them. The Meridians weren't conquerors, they were a quarantine force, preventing civilizations from inadvertently destroying themselves and others. There has to be another way, Lydia insisted. Integration sounds like extinction with extra steps. The Meridian considered this. There is no precedent for alternative protocols. Create one, Dieter said firmly. Humans won't accept integration. It's not in our nature. But we can work together to contain these Devourers. A moment passed, then another. The alien's eyes pulsed with internal light. The collective is considering. Across the solar system, the Meridian fleet halted its advance toward Earth. On Jupiter Station, Commander Okafor watched in astonishment as the vessels assumed a defensive formation, not attacking Earth, but forming a perimeter around the solar system. Aboard the command ship, Lydia Torres modified their quantum disruptor, transforming it into a communication device that could translate between human and Meridian quantum patterns. For the first time in its ancient history, the Meridian Collective was negotiating. 3 days later, Dieter Harlow stood beside General Vega in Earth's United Council chamber as the first official Meridian ambassador materialized. The terms were being finalized. Earth would halt its more dangerous quantum experiments, while the Meridians would share technology to shield human civilization from extra-dimensional threats. Was it worth it? General Vega asked quietly. Risking everything on that mission? Dieter watched as Lydia Torres demonstrated the modified quantum translator to wide-eyed scientists. Nessa and Hiroshi stood at attention nearby, now part of the newly formed Threshold Defense Initiative. Always is, he replied. When you discover your enemy isn't really your enemy at all. Outside the chamber windows, the first joint human meridian defense platform took shape in orbit, its quantum field generators already scanning the void for rifts, for echoes of entities that hungered in the spaces between dimensions. Earth hadn't surrendered. It hadn't fought, either. Instead, humanity had done what it did best, found a third option, forged an unexpected alliance, and taken its first true steps into a much larger, much more dangerous cosmos. The invasion that never was had become humanity's salvation.